Cullen live in 1 minute. Welcome to Lynn Cullen Live at pghcitypaper.com. Email your questions and comments to Lynn at pghcitypaper.com.
Good morning. I was sort of garbled the good part because I know a lot of you are in pain. Always tough after your sports teams go kaplooey in front of you. So it's no joy in Mudville today. And that being said, for those of you who are not sports fans, who don't eat, live, breathe for your team, it seems like you've adopted a more intelligent stance. So I'm not going to say anything. That's not true. I am going to say something. Good morning. It's Monday. It's sort of sunny, and it's September, and it's the 9th of the 9th month. There you have it. That's all the absolutely factual information I will be disseminating today, because after this, it'll probably be meanderings about, I don't know, positions and opinions and what-ifs and speculations, and as we head into an interesting week, what a extremely versatile word interesting is, isn't it? And of course, I'm talking about Syria, which I did not think a bit about all weekend. When I did think about it, I felt dispirited, I think would be a proper definition of my state. This one is unsatisfying on every front, in every wrinkle it presents. It is just unsatisfying. So while I staked out the unpopular position that I'd go it with Obama if that's what he wants, I have to tell you, I'm not so sure he wants it. And I don't care. And if the Congress says no, clearly, in this case, I think, representing the will of the people, then I don't think Obama should act, and I think we should back away and say, well, we're a representative democracy, sort of, kind of, and guess we're not doing it. Now, all the perception stuff, how does that make us look in the world? Does Obama become emasculated? Does the United States look like a paper tiger? All that kind of stuff. But that's what gives the punditry a reason to, well, get up in the morning. They have to keep yapping. I am I don't know. So I guess there's a big blitz underway today. The president's talking to everybody and anybody. As a matter of fact, if you get buttonholed on the street by somebody who looks like Barack Obama, it could well be Barack Obama. He is out in full force, apparently, today. He will speak to the nation tomorrow evening. And This is the so-called full court press. And the war-weary nation just sighs and rolls its eyes. Go ahead, caller.
Morning.
Morning.
Hey, Lynn, when are we going to get a real Democrat in there? This guy is not a Democrat. Honest to God, I'll tell you what, it's like having George Bush light. I mean, the man goes into Afghanistan, escalates that, and now he wants to strike in Syria. It's just like having a Republican in there. I mean, he doesn't impress me at all. I'm so disappointed. Of course, I'm always disappointed in the president. But
bear that in
sure.
Bear that in mind, that you're always disappointed. So maybe we invest too much in these men who hold this position. I don't know. It's not like they're magicians who can snap their fingers and have things come out okay. I don't know. Imperfect people, imperfect world, imperfect systems, imperfect.
Well, that's true.
Yeah. So to expect. I
would think that he should have maybe done some type of peacekeeping thing. Better off doing something like that, trying to get refugees out, trying to give them somewhere to go. I don't know what the answer is, but this strike in this military force, this has got to stop. It's going to kill this country. It really is. We keep doing it, we're going to end up in something that we regret. Okay. I really feel it's going to happen.
Well, we already did end up in something we regretted.
But I'm talking like maybe World War III.
Oh, I don't know.
Turkey, I mean, you could get into then Israel and all that. I mean, you could get into some major shit going on.
Well,
and I don't know what these generals must take them in the back room and hypnotize the bastards because they believe all this shit. I do. When the generals told me something, I do the complete opposite because they're never right and they're not good at wars. We're not good at wars. Even in World War II, the war lasted too damn long. But all these other wars, we didn't have to fight them. We lost people, we lost lives. I mean, it's just unbelievable. These people got to wise up in the Congress and the presidency. It's unbelievable. It just takes a little common sense, which they all lack.
Okay.
I don't give a shit what degree they have or anything. They lack common sense.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Have a good day.
That's what I was waiting for. Have a good day. With his worldview, how do you ever have a good day? He's so, if you ever read Winnie the Pooh, he's such an Eeyore. Yeah, okay, hello.
Hello, I think that's the longest call he ever made.
Do you think so? Well, I
think so.
He's feeling, he's really feeling, I understand what he's feeling, but...
Yeah, I think the whole issue is pretty confusing, but I think I'm often on the opposite side when it comes to military things from you, but I think with this particular one, I think I'm actually with you, so, because it seems like we've been hearing that there was a guy last week, I don't know his name, all your callers' names, but there was a guy last week that was making a similar prediction that if we go in there and planes get shot down, it's going to turn into a ground war, and
right.
I seem to remember about a year ago, whenever that was, a couple of years back, that everybody was making that same prediction with Libya. That didn't happen there.
No.
I remember, I might be fooling myself, but I think back in Kosovo, the same predictions were made.
Didn't happen.
And it didn't happen there. And I don't know. I don't agree with everything that Obama's done in his presidency, but I think I'm still with where you were last Tuesday, was saying that he elected this guy, and that I kind of have to look at some other examples from where people have done similar things and trust them on this. And another place where that's making me nervous is joining. I hear a lot of people on the left joining with the teabaggers, and that's making me very nervous. Like, it's basically the teabaggers have one goal, which is to destroy anything that could happen in this presidency, and they see this as an opportunity, and they're taking it.
Well, yeah, I don't. This is really a strange bedfellows situation. You've got Tea Party types and Republicans essentially standing with Vladimir Putin.
Yeah, and the first thing that the teabaggers say is, "Can this hurt Obama?" And then if it can,
I agree. Yeah.
And then you have, I mean, I'm definitely on the left, but I don't consider myself a pacifist, and I don't think you do either. So,
No.
I mean, if you can point out examples of where this stuff has done some good, and I think there was a lot of bad in Kosovo, but I think one good was that, that decade-long war kind of fizzled out at that point.
Well, that one is one that could have in fact gone to genocide. I don't think there was any doubt about that. And Clinton's action at the time was not popular at all.
It's very similar to what we're talking about here.
Right, and unless my memory has totally absconded with every brain cell I have, I believe that not one American soldier died in our action in Kosovo.
No, and I think a lot of the exact same predictions were made at that time.
Sure.
I think there was a French plane shot down, and the guy was eventually released, and he basically said that, it's a different part of the world, so who knows? I don't know whether, if a plane was shot down. I don't even know if planes are going to be flying, but, these predictions are all over the place. Everybody thinks that they're, an expert on every military action, and,
I know. It's interesting, isn't it, how all of a sudden those of us who don't know much of anything about military tactics, about geopolitics, about diplomatic maneuverings, about anything, we all of a sudden speak with such certainty, like we know it all, and we can.
Just remember what the last few years have been, and I think there's a lot of things that Obama has done that I would compare to Bush, but the other question I've been asking myself is, what if Romney was in power right now? What would the position of all what would Republicans be saying about that?
Oh, the Republicans, we already, if there were a Republican president, we would already militarily be in this, I would imagine.
Yeah, so I just I don't get the position of a lot of these people. It's like they don't want to go in militarily, but they have no idea what we should do, and how many these are the same. A lot of these people are the same people that were after Clinton for not doing anything about Rwanda. And if there's people that say that we should be doing stuff in more parts of the world, and I don't mean militarily by this, but maybe there are other things we should be doing instead of always focusing on the Middle East. But I don't think that's a reason to rule out taking some kind of an action here. It just doesn't. I don't follow the reasoning of a lot of these people.
Well, I appreciate your point of view. Stay tuned. Stay tuned with the rest of us.
I will.
Okay. I am not as certain in my position as I was on Friday. I feel myself doing what so many Americans are doing, which is just pulling back by virtue of the fact that it seems like to get involved in this world is a no-win situation. To do the right thing often is a no-win situation. The other reality that there's really, even if we bomb the heck out of Syria, does that really solve much of anything? Does it give the Syrians an end to the civil war? No. Does it give the Syrians a government? No. Does it bring an end to their difficulties? No. And just, cast your gaze around Syria and look at potential tinderboxes everywhere your eye falls, everywhere. Today it's Syria, tomorrow it was Egypt before it was Syria, right? And it'll be Egypt again, and then it'll be, who knows what's going on in in Suez, and then it'll be Turkey and I don't know. So someone, can't remember which one of you sent me this, but thank you for it. Someone sent me something. I don't know if it's true. It's somebody's opinion. And it's an interesting one, and one that I've toyed with because Obama does seem so sort of, he doesn't seem strong about this. He doesn't, it's like he has this position, but he doesn't seem to have a fire in his belly about it. He seems, as is often the case with him, his cerebral, cool self. And that leads me to wonder what the hell is really going on in his super cool and very smart head. Okay? So here's a guy named Wayne Baumgars who says he thinks maybe we're all getting hoodwinked here by Mr. Cool. And he says this. Why does it appear he wants this war? After agonizing over this question, I, Mr. Baumgars, began to realize that there's really only one logical explanation. He doesn't. Only a month ago, the Republicans were accusing him of being weak for not acting when the red line was crossed. There was pressure for him not only from the U.S., but from the world as well. The reputation of the great American defender was on the line. Still, it was obvious. Obama did not want to rush into another quagmire. It's absolutely true, right? Remember, dithering. He's dithering again. He's dithering. And the evidence kept rolling in that he had to do something, not only for his reputation, but for the United States' reputation as well. And then you had the Brits and their parliament providing Obama with, if you think about it, the perfect cover. Just days after, Britain's governing body eliminated any joint action with the U.S. in striking the Assad regime, Obama makes that shocking move. And it was shocking. Against the advice of, as far as we can tell, all of his advisors. Imagine that. Against the advice of all of his advisors who were slack-jawed and open-mouthed when he told them what he was going to do. He went and did it. He put any participation of our military in Syria in the hands of our do-nothing Congress. With no chance they would give him the approval. All he had to do was look at the House. And it wouldn't be because it wasn't necessarily the right thing to do, but because he was asking for it. So this guy says the calculation that Obama understands who is in the Congress now, and that they are, no matter, whatever it is, I'm against it. If it comes from Obama, they are against it. So he knew when he said, I'll wait, you give me the go-ahead. This guy thinks he knows damn well they won't. The outcome is a given if you just take a step back and look at the situation rationally. And this guy thinks if the Congress says no, Obama's not going to do it. He still could, and could legally. He has those powers. But why would he have asked Congress if he didn't want to perhaps have their cover? Now, Obama acting once the Congress, the representatives of the people, have said, no, we don't want to do this, could be political suicide. This guy says, now, George W. might have done it after being told no. But America now, at this time in our history, war-weary as we supposedly are, we would not appreciate it if Barack Obama does do a military strike without American approval. And this guy says, Obama is not stupid. Please keep this in mind. If he looks like he's blundering, floundering, it could well be that he's blundering and floundering like a fox. Here's this pundit's thought. So why then does the president appear to be beating the drums of war? The simple answer is he is now regarded as a hawkish, strong leader before the United States and the world. Just as our first caller said, what's the difference? I thought I elected a Democrat, a peacenik type, and I get a hawk. And if he's able to have that hawkish mantle without firing a shot, because Congress won't let him, why, that's sort of cool, huh? He appears wholeheartedly in favor of a strike and is playing the part pretty well. The hawk stands upon his perch without lifting a talon, as Congress now takes any and all responsibility for lack of action on the part of the United States. And during the entire debacle, Obama even manages to make Republicans come out as anti-war, something even no one thought possible only a month ago. It sounds like an improbable scenario, but I ask you to ponder the potential outcome, okay, not political necessarily, but the potential outcome if this scenario were Congress says no, Obama does nothing. Okay, here's what we'd end up with. No war in Syria. Obama and America look strong, and world leaders should not doubt Obama's willingness to take action. I'm not so sure about that. Congress was made to do their job. Congress will take the responsibility of inaction. Republicans have to pretend they are anti-war. Americans come out against any further wars. They're providing the beginning of an end to our perpetual war. It puts pressure on the UN to take other action, and suddenly the UN is eager to accept other harsh non-military actions against Syria. I don't know. Seeing as they can barely name a post office, Congress might, I don't know. This guy is touting the line that Obama is the one that is choreographing this whole thing, and then, in fact, he's smiling as Congress does for him what he wanted it to do in the first place. And if America, says this guy, could just set down their pitchforks and torches for a moment, they would be able to see what a brilliant strategy this is. Oh, I don't know. But the fact that this guy can spin this tale, and I can't say for sure he's out of his mind, and it's conceivable he's right, since we know that all this stuff can often be, the metaphor for it can be a chess game. So that certain moves that are made that appear to be something are really just setting up for something else. I don't know. But maybe this Wayne Baumgars has a point here. Although I don't think it will play out this way. If the Congress does not give the president the approval he is seeking, I'm not so sure he would not act without that approval. I don't know what he would do. But does it not still make him look weak to have asked and then to be turned down? I don't know. I wish the Middle East would just sort of go away. That's my childlike fantasy. Just go away. Get your damn act together in 1,000 years and then come back. Otherwise, leave us alone. Not that we don't meddle in their affairs, but I don't know. Sick of it! Sick of it! Sick of it! We'll take a break.
Email your questions and comments to Lynn at pghcitypaper.com or call Lynn at 412-316-3381. Lynn Cullen Live will return in a moment.
Come to Little's for all of your back-to-school needs. Little's has everything for all ages to stay in style for this upcoming school season. Check out the large selection from Doc Marten, Steve Madden, UGG, Clark's, Lely Kelly, New Balance, and much, much more. Don't forget to come visit this season's colorful handbag selection as well. Little Shoes, Pittsburgh's largest family shoe store, 5850 Forbes Avenue in Squirrel Hill.
Pittsburgh City Paper is available now. Pick one up today for a look at plans to turn a former housing project into an urban farm. Plus, Kid Rock, Michael Franti, Darius Rucker, and A Fair in the Park. Pittsburgh City Paper, available at 1,700 locations throughout western Pennsylvania. On the web at pghcitypaper.com and on your smartphone with GPS-enabled listings at citypapermobile.com.
Have a question or an opinion? Call Lynn Cullen at 412-316-3381 or email lynn at pghcitypaper.com. Now, more with Lynn Cullen Live.
All right. So my opening to the show in which I referred to our team's losses over the weekend did beget this email, which I just saw from Ansel. Hey, Lynn, speak for yourself. Penn State, my team, won this weekend. Well, good for you. Good for you. Ansel, very happy for you, in fact. I have to admit, I can't get into... I have not watched any football at all. I can't get into it. I don't know what it is, but I suspect it has something to do... excuse me. I'm sorry. That's what I get for trying to read. I'm sorry. I'm trying to read an email while I was talking. Can millennials do that?
Yeah.
No, come on. You mean you can read an email while you are talking coherently about something else? How could that possibly be that you could do both those things?
Well,
What do you mean? Huh?
Skimming.
You what?
Skimming.
Skimming, but while I'm skimming, which takes a lot of brain action to sort of, I'm still supposed to have enough brain to make this coherent case about something else. I can't even remember what I was talking about now. Well, no, I can't. Jesus, there is no way. All right, don't laugh at me.
Hey, Lynn, this is George from Moon.
Yeah, ha to you too.
What are you getting so hot for?
I don't know. I woke up on the wrong side of the bed.
Yeah. My wife is like that, too. She's upset about the Steeler loss from,
I don't give a damn.
What? I'm talking sports now. Take it easy.
I know, and I don't give a damn about them either. So what do you, I don't care if they lost. Big deal. Listen, tell your wife to get used to it, because there's going to be a lot of losses this season.
I don't want it. Okay. I'll replay this so she can hear it. You can. She's looking at me right now like, oh, what's she saying? Because I got the sound turned down and she can't hear it on their iPad.
Okay, so listen. So what?
Why'd I call?
Yeah, why the hell?
Sounds like you were weary also.
I am. No, I am, and I have to admit, there's part of me that's just starting to turn around. Oh, I don't care. Oh, yeah. I don't know. Make a statement.
I like that about. I like that when you said, I wish the Middle East would go away.
Just drop into some dark hole.
Yeah, so I think you're more worried.
Lost. Oh, I am.
Hey, I just wanted to say, when I called last Wednesday, I hope that my comments were all taken in.
Well, of course they were.
Good
That was a
light
good call.
and everything like that.
No, that was a good call.
Yeah.
Apologizing?
No, I'm not apologizing. You hear?
Yeah, I can hear.
No, I'm just saying
No,
that
he's.
I think.
I want her to be on your bad side.
No, see, that's my wife.
You to be on her bad side.
What's that?
You are not on my bad side.
Okay.
And there's no need ever to apologize unless you.
No, I'm not apologizing.
I know you're not, but your wife is saying.
My wife is a radical German, they're just a hothead,
Okay. Okay.
Sometimes.
All right, but
Much Gemütlichkeit, maybe, It's
yeah, gotcha. So anyway, that's that.
Oh, okay. One thing I wanted to say was that, I'm glad I wanted to correct something from your last caller, because I think he was commenting about my comments from last week about predicting what's to come in the war and everything. The main point of what I was bringing up last week was that I just highly object to America being the only one to go forward in something like this, and that I agree with him that the Kosovo thing with Clinton in '99 and the Libyan thing were successful.
Yes.
But what you have to remember about those, and I agree, those were the good model that Obama did with Libya.
But they were not unilateral actions, you're going to say.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. They were collective actions. The Kosovo thing, Bosnia and all that was Clinton was pushing the Europeans to take responsibility for genocide in Europe.
Well, was that a NATO action? Did he have
That was a NATO action.
All right, yeah.
And remember, our first stealth-type plane was shot down, and one of our other pilots was, Grady was shot down too, but this was a NATO action. In fact, what significantly took place in this too was that for the first time, the German army lost soldiers in a war since World War II. They're part of NATO, the German military, and the Bundeswehr, and they lost the soldiers for the first time since World War II. So it showed that they were fully integrated in a real force of NATO to clean up Europe. And Clinton, though, had to push them, and he rightly did it, and that was the U.S. with our NATO allies, and it was successful. It ended that genocide, and now they're sorting out legally and everything, and they brought some stability and peace there. That was an excellent way to do that, and I defend Clinton for that. Same thing with Obama in Libya. He did not singularly take that. The French and the British, because the Mediterranean and Libya is the backyard of Europe again, too. Mm-hmm. It wasn't a complete NATO action, but it was the French, the British, and Italy, and the U.S. backing them up with the assets, intelligent, air refueling, all kind of stuff like that. And that was successful, too, without America going alone. And that's the model I think should be used in any action in Syria, and I think it would be successful. Collective action by the locals, whether it's NATO or whatever, it spreads the responsibility, it spreads the hurt, and it collectively lays into whoever that miscreant is, whether it's the Syrian regime or whoever, to be successful. And it brings clout to the UN that says a whole bunch of people in this area took action on this. So that's the point I was trying to make.
Okay.
The previous caller, I think, was thinking I was just against any action at all, or it's going to be a wider war.
Yeah.
I think there's some dangers here about a wider war, but I'm not predicting anything, because this is a wide open thing that can be very scary, and we'll see what takes place.
Yeah, we will.
But I think the discussion that you're hosting here is very good, and I hope everybody keeps a cool head.
Right,
and
me too.
Doesn't get all upset and radical
me
and everything
too.
on whatever side.
Absolutely agree with you.
And you've been faring good, but you need to cool your heels on sports too.
Okay. All right. I'll just up my medication, okay?
Okay.
All right. Goodbye.
Good talking to you.
Bye. Good talking to you, too. Yeah, I think whatever discussion we're having here is good, and I've appreciated it. And I said anybody who's absolutely certain are the people that of their position are the ones that I'm always skeptical of. And I'm wiggly wobbly. I'm 1 minute. Oh, that's so. I'm still. There's more ambivalence in me than certainty. But I don't dismiss out of hand, as so many of you do, positions on, I don't mean to suggest that so many of you do, I really don't know that, do I? But so many seem to be dismissing any position that is not like right where their thinking is now. And I don't think that's a smart way to proceed. I think the smart way to proceed is to keep as open a head as possible. Allowing for, changes of mind, perception, all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, those of you who've listened to my show over the decades will perhaps remember that before Iraq, I was mulling and mulling and mulling. I was back and forth up until when Colin Powell, the Secretary of State, spoke before the United Nations and had all these, and here is this and here is that, and we know this and we know that. And because I always respected him, that swung me toward a hawkish stance. And then I thought some more and some more and some more. And by the time we did it, our shock and awe, I had made the decision that this was a very stupid thing to do. And it turns out I was right. But I didn't arrive at that position without a lot of turmoil. So the one thing that I can't get out of my head, and it was a question that arose almost immediately after it was announced that we knew that there had been this chemical attack on these people. I remember thinking, well, that's stupid. That doesn't make any sense. Everything I had read was that Assad was increasingly winning this civil war. And that he was in pretty dang good shape. He had UN inspectors on the ground at the time. And I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute. You are winning. You got UN inspectors right there. Let's launch a chemical strike? What? Huh? Chemical strikes are the kind of military action of a weakened entity. It's like a desperate action. It's when you don't have any other abilities. Or unless you're just a crazed psychopath, I guess. I don't know. So, and I have to admit, so Putin comes out and says the same thing. Wait a minute, how can you say he would do that? It makes no sense. He didn't have to gas anybody. Why would he gas anybody? This doesn't make sense. And I have to admit, it doesn't make sense. Never did. So, don't know. I just don't know. So let's change the subject. Charlie Rose interviewed Bashar al-Assad today. Anybody hear that? See that? Excuse me. Doesn't he look like a turtle? Doesn't he look like a turtle who lost his shell? He's got the longest neck since Nefertiti. He's got a neck that is like, it's easily 2 inches longer than it should be. Often a long neck is a sign of, in a woman, certainly of beauty. But if it keeps going on too long, you start looking like a Pez dispenser. And I'm afraid he does. And then, so you have this long neck. And as the neck, if it were going, and on top of that neck was planted a good-looking head, it might be a different story. But what's on top of that neck, the first thing you hit, is the extraordinarily recessed and weak chin of the optometrist known as Bashir Assad. He just looks like the biggest friggin' dork in the universe, which is another reason I want to hit him. But I know that that's not the kind of reason that we should be, talking about here. I'm just saying. Jess just said in a break, and it is true. It's shocking. 2 shootings at bars in Bloomfield yesterday, or in some cases this morning, I guess. Never think of Bloomfield as a high crime area, but geez. And in the case of one, a best friend shooting his best friend, the best friend who shot a Pittsburgh police officer on disability, drunk as a skunk. Oh, God almighty. Guns. Gotta love them, right? Hello?
Yes, you answered your own question as to why Assad would use chemical weapons with the inspectors in there.
Because he's a Pez container?
No.
Why?
He sticks his neck out and likes making a spectacle of himself.
Well, it ain't hard to stick that neck out, is it?
That's why it's so long. He keeps sticking his neck out.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be hard to just chop it off, too. Hey, why don't we get one of those helicopters that guy got decapitated with and just...
I guess that's one way to get ahead in the world.
Aha!
Yeah, I got nothing on Syria. I've been completely, I just threw my hands up in the air.
Yeah.
It's like you just did today. It's like, I just wish the Middle East would go away.
Yeah.
So there's really, there's nothing you can do besides, and I don't know if you remember this, like after 9/11, everybody was shocked. I said, I think we might have to blow them all up. We might have to kill them all. People were shocked with that reaction.
I do remember you saying that. Kill them all. And you know what? And if we'd only done that, we wouldn't have to be having this kind of...
We wouldn't have this problem. And I'll go back to my, my mainstay, and I know it's an impossibility anytime recently, but you have to get rid of religion. That's all it's about. Not just religion, but race and ethnicity and all those things.
All those silly things, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well...
That's my goal, is to get as many people as I can before I die to get rid of those ideas in their head, and hopefully it spreads.
I heard some pundit trying to blame us, the United States, on setting off what looks to be now this sort of Sunni Shia civil war all throughout the Middle East. And some guy who certainly knows more than I do, and I think more than she did, slapped her down by saying, "What are you, the U.S.?" He said, Sunni and Shia have been killing each other for 1,400 years.
Yeah.
How's it our fault?
And it's one of those things that, you can just keep stepping back throughout history, and probably end up in the cave, before you figure out why it's going on.
Why it's going on.
But the bottom line is it's the ideas, and I keep saying that separate people.
That's right.
Religion, ethnicity, those kind of things.
Yeah, silly often comes down to silly things.
Yeah.
You look east when you say that prayer, and I look west. I'm going to kill you.
I'm going to kill you.
Yeah.
That's all it is. And, of course, what is it? When they drew the lines after World War I, they just did them haphazardly.
I think they were like... I was going to say smoking something, but, somebody who's stoned is going to do a better job than they did. So I'm going to suggest they were, tripping or something when they drew those lines after World War I. Hello?
Yeah, I'm still here. I was trying to come up with a bad pun, and my mind went
And
blank.
you couldn't.
And I couldn't
And
do
anyway,
it.
you're not a drug-related person, so that you couldn't think of anything. It's out of your area of expertise.
It's around me, but... Yeah.
It's around you, but not... Yeah, you got to have personal, kind of. So did you know Charlie Rose interviewed Bashir Assad?
No, I didn't know that until you said it. So
okay, all right.
I'll get online and find the interview. And
oh, I know who else he looks. He looks like an ostrich.
yeah, that's it. Or the ugly duckling. You know what I mean? That was
the swan, but he looks like an ostrich. It's just, the chinless ostrich.
Remember, there was a buzzard that was on Bugs Bunny.
Yeah.
Glad to talk to you. Like, well, I'm going to the zoo. Look, I got the rabbit. You know, that guy kind of has that.
Yeah, the rabbit. Yeah. Wait, that's Elmer Fudd.
No, Elmer. It was a buzzard. It was like a little.
A buzzard who also couldn't say ours.
No, he just was dopey. He had this dopey look. He was, he had to go find the rabbits. I'm gonna get a baby bumblebee. You don't have any cartoon references. I'm sorry.
I don't, and I didn't. Oh, geez.
Right now, there were 45 to 65-year-olds cracking up with my imitation of that buzzard. They know exactly what I'm talking about.
I'm sure there are, and I can almost hear the applause from here. Always enjoy your calls.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
And have a good day.
Yeah, you too.
Right. Thanks.
They're bombing in Syria. They're rioting in Spain. Listen. The world is a mess. And I could say that on any given day, and I could have said it on any given day in any century in all of human history. Right? Let's acknowledge that much. Did somebody say swan? Did the word swan come up? Ugly duckling. Because ugly duckling... Well, I have a depressing, I have a sad, I have a follow-up. Remember the stork in Egypt? Oh, no, I know you don't want to know, and I don't want to know it either, but I do. Remember the poor stork in Egypt who some idiot captured and brought to the police because he thought it was a spy because it had a thing on its leg, like a banding thing where it was, it's a migratory bird because it wasn't a swan, it was a stork. And they took this stork to the police station. And the cops, I showed you the picture of it, behind bars. They thought it was a spy. Now, this is how smart a people we're dealing with here, too. I'm sorry. They thought the Israelis, I guess, had trained this swan stork to get intel. And somebody finally identified it and said, that's no swan, that's a stork, that's no device that spies use, that's a band that ornithologists use, you numbskulls. And I guess they let the poor thing go. But I saw an item. A stork once accused by Egyptian authorities of being a swan. Well, I don't think he was accused of being a swan. He was mistaken for a swan. He was accused of being a spy. Anyway, has been found dead. They found the bird on an island in the Nile near the ancient city of Aswan. Jeez. Sad. Okay, I'm seeing emails, and I'm not sure which ones I have. Okay, here it is. Bashir Assad tells Charlie Rose the United States should expect every action in response to Syrian strikes. All right, yeah, I'm sure. So the geek was sounding strong, huh? Good for him. Now, I'm not a big fan of Charlie Rose, but Charlie Rose would be a hero to me. Can you imagine you get this interview, and in the middle of the interview, you just shoot Assad? Wouldn't that be cool? I mean, it'd be over for you, but still, what a blaze of glory, ridding the world of this totally, not only, just totally disgusting human being and murderous human being. Just take him out. And if I seem a little trigger happy, it's because I live in the United States of America, where we shoot 107-year-old men. Did you see that story? A SWAT team took out a 107-year-old man in Arkansas. I don't care what a 107-year-old man is doing. You don't shoot the old fart. Jesus Christ. I'm taking a break.
Stick around for more with Lynn Cullen Live after this.
BirdBargains.com for great deals on gift cards from your favorite local restaurants, bars, museums, attractions, and shows. This week, 60% off vouchers to Eclipse Lounge in Lawrenceville. BirdBargains.com, Pittsburgh's best bargains. BirdBargains.com.
Les Ludwig, your independent, self-financed, clean candidate for mayor of Pittsburgh. You've heard the saying, same old. If we don't change what we're doing, we can only expect the same results. Let's look at what the Democratic Party leadership of your lifetime is asking you to do on Election Day. They want you to forget that they and Ravenstall have not lived up to minority contracts and the jobs involved in it. If government promises work and jobs and wants to leave it for the next candidate, will it ever get done? How can we trust Peduto and especially the leadership when they continue to act this way? Are they hiding something worse than Harper's misdeeds? Vote November 5th and remember, same old. Embrace change and work willingly with it. Think outside the party's box. Make Les Ludwig your mayor and join his march to clean government and keeping promises.
Welcome to today's lottery drawing. And today's winning numbers are not yours, not yours, and another number that's not yours. And the final number is not yours.
When it comes to having money, don't rely on luck. Brew your own coffee at home instead of buying that latte. Brown bag it to work instead of ordering it. Go to feedthepig.org for more free ideas on how to save. Feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Lynn Cullen Live at pghcitypaper.com. Once again, here's Lynn Cullen.
All right, I believe the dim-witted buzzard has been identified by another one of you as Beaky Buzzard. Clever name. Jeez. And the picture or whatever it is you were attempting to send did not come up. No! This, I've been talking about how every Middlesex village and farm police department now comes equipped with a Darth Vader-like SWAT team for its police department. And this, again, the wise use of taxpayer dollars after 9/11. We couldn't stop throwing money at every enforcement entity in the country, all because of Homeland Security. Well, let me tell you something. I remember the days, it was all of like 10 years ago. Remember the days when somebody's holed up in their house or something and, a few cops show up and wait them out or whatever. And now, a day, I'm not going to exaggerate because I don't need to. A week doesn't go by in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I can't speak to other bailiwicks in which the SWAT team isn't deployed. So it's not unusual now for these black-garbed, scary-looking, with the scary toys and all this stuff to enter our neighborhoods now and surround homes and use all their toys and gizmos. And invariably it seems like it's someone's holed up in their house. Okay, my sense, if someone's holed up in their house, leave them there. What? You don't have to close down a neighborhood because somebody's despondent and acting stupid or whatever. And aren't there other ways besides all these cops being able to play with their toys and pretend they're in some action movie? And all it does is beget trouble. It is so damn stupid. Case being, 107-year-old man, Pine Bluff, Arkansas, killed by SWAT officers during a standoff at his home. This guy, 107, he had threatened 2 people by pointing a gun at them. Okay, you got a 107-year-old man, he's pointing guns at people. Call out the SWAT team! Bring him down! Come on. There are no other... Okay, this is reminiscent of when somebody's, the old metaphor, when all you have in your toolbox is a hammer, everything looks like a nail, and that was quoted to me in regard to my hawkish stance of last week regarding Syria. This certainly holds true here. There are a lot of ways to deal with a 107-year-old man stuck in his house with a gun, which of course just makes him a good American of long standing, and of dealing with that without killing him. The upshot of it is they went into his house, the SWAT team, and they threw what's called a distraction device at the old fart. The old fart was not distracted. You don't live to be 107 and easily distracted. He started firing at the people who had attacked him and went down, of course, immediately in a hail of gunfire. Stupid. Kids playing cops and robbers. That's all it is. And while we're talking about guns and Americans and stupid, let me get to this out of Iowa. I once told you guys that in my home state of Wisconsin, they made it legal for people who are blind to hunt during deer hunting season. I'm serious. Don't ask how. I'm sure there's some little caveats, like you have to have someone with you, sort of make sure you're not going to shoot people and whatever. Here, listen to this. Iowa, the state, is granting permits to carry guns in public. That's where there's no concealment going on. You can outright carry guns to people who are completely blind. Iowa, this has nothing to do with hunting. This has to do with the permitting of... No one questions the legality of these permits. State law in Iowa does not allow sheriffs to deny an Iowan the right to carry a weapon based on a physical disability. So, if you're blind, which is a physical disability, you can carry your weapon. No problem. Private gun ownership by visually impaired Iowans is nothing new. But the practice of visually impaired Iowans carrying firearms in public recently became widely possible thanks to gun permit changes that took effect in Iowa in 2011. I'm sure at the behest of their probably Republican-run state legislature of nincompoops. And here is a sergeant, a spokesman for the Polk County Sheriff's Department. It seems a little strange, but the way the law reads, we can't deny them a permit just based on that one thing. That one thing being, they're blind! They're blind! You want to know how the rest of the world looks at us? When, like, say that story gets... is carried, and it will be. It'll carry it over in European papers because there's nothing Europeans like more than stories like this, showing that Americans are stark, raving mad. We're not on. Jeez. Well. Oh, thank you. Yes, PJ. I do now have Beaky Buzzard's face. Yeah, he looks familiar. He either looks. Okay, he looks stupid and or exhausted, but he definitely does not look like the brightest bulb. He was a Warner Brothers character, and there he is. Learn something every day on this show. I love it. Okay, what else we got? Dyspepsia. Dyspepsia? Really? Really? This is from Sokolowski. Today's show is the most dyspeptic that I have ever seen you. Are you kidding? This show? You think I'm dyspeptic today? Oh man, I've lost all self-awareness then. Because I don't feel particularly dyspeptic. Really? I think I need a vacation. I think I need a timeout. Why am I so dyspeptic? I don't know. Am I in turmoil? I guess I am. Wow. Interesting. Thank God it's almost over. Because it is. Dyspepsia. God. Okay, just checking. See, I'm going to get all you folks in. I guess we're going to have to end on that. Dyspeptic. Wait. I'm sorry. It's not dyspeptic. It's disorganized. Okay, maybe I'm a little... Okay, here, this is something, I don't know what this, John has written, in the world of radio, nothing carries more importance than the clock. Most shows that are broadcast over public airways have a set template. Yes, that's true. And they actually draw a clock out and have it. Yeah, that's true. From which they rarely, if ever, deviate. The 99% Invisible podcast recently visited NPR to see how producers handle the pressure. Running long by a second or two can result in a show being cut off for listeners and coming up short ahead of all the scheduled posts, which is by 7%. There wasn't always such an obsession with precision and timing. Production was far more freewheeling in the 1970s. Some who were around in that era insist. I don't know. One of my problems when I did radio, broadcast radio, is I never could get used to being pushed around by that clock. And every time they came in and told me, yeah, like, exactly at 20 after, you have to have your first break. You've got to go to the time check at 30. You got to go to the next break at 20. It's like I'm trying to have a conversation with my audience, and it just doesn't work that way. I hated having to, like, cut people off, and you do see it when you're listening or watching certain cable shows where they just cut people off, and it seems so rude. But that clock, that inexorable ticking clock, must be obeyed. And not on the internet. I love this internet. It's anarchy. It's past my 60 minutes right now. And see, nothing's happening. We just dribble over. So, But I shall remove my dyspeptic that's not easy to say. Dyspeptic self, and promise being back tomorrow, and I will attempt a more lucid and serene psyche for tomorrow's show. So, have a great day.
Lynn Cullen Live, Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and archived at pghcitypaper.com. The opinions expressed on Lynn Cullen Live are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the viewpoints of Pittsburgh City Paper, Steel City Media, and its advertisers.